Hey guys! Okay, so it's been a while since I've done my makeup. Today turned out kind of crazy. I felt so ugly in my last video that I was like, okay, I'm gonna do makeup today, and I was just thinking of like pink eye, looks pretty cute, right? And then I was like, I haven't been creative in such a long time, and then the rest of this happened. It's pretty cool though, like, this looks pretty cool if I had like a yellow eye. So you guys are just gonna have to deal with this today. It happens. It's like no makeup or this. The is what the is. So this is gonna be a short wrap up. Did I even say hi? Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm having a really great day today. I read like no books in August, except the Booktubeathon. If you wanna watch those videos and do a wrap up of the last video, last like 2 minutes, you can click in the cards for that. Oh my god, are the cards this one? No, I don't think so. The cards are here. I'm gonna talk about the very few books I read, 2 like physical copies of books, 1 comic and audiobook, and the audiobook I've been listening to for like almost a month now. So let's start with the first one, which is Saga Volume 8. The 9th one is coming out this month, I think, or next month. So I already pre-ordered it. It's really good. I really like this one, but there's something about comics that makes me not be able to love them 100% because they aren't as like detailed as books. They're more like visual and for fun, and so I have a little bit of harder time connecting with comics. I felt like some of the characters got a little wrapped up a little bit better and where they were. Just like that. Sci-fi comic, highly recommend it if you haven't read it. Great way to start reading comics. They're really easy to understand and they're also really fun, great characters, species, really interesting. I'll see if I can find some good pictures. Like here is a wolf that does like abortions. It's basically about like an intergalactic war, and if you haven't read it, you really should. And then I read Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows on audiobook, read by Stephen Fry, so the British version, and I of course loved it. It's just like, I love the 5th book in the Harry Potter series so much because it talks about Dumbledore's past and you get to know about Grindelwald and his childhood and about Ariana, and I think all that is so interesting, and especially since Dumbledore, spoiler alert, but like if you haven't read Harry Potter, like, you deserve to be spoiled. After Dumbledore dies, you just get so much more information, and there's a few deaths in this, which I think would be totally unnecessary, or it was totally necessary, but still so good. Definitely not my favorite book in the series though, but I just really enjoyed it, and audiobook is just amazing. I cried quite a bit. Then I read this book, The Reaper at the Gates by Sabaa Tahir. This is the 3rd one in the Ember in the Ashes. This is a kind of Roman-inspired fantasy. It's young adult, but it's definitely not written as young adult. The 2nd book in the series was definitely the best one. This one I read while I was moving, so I might not have been as focused or involved in the plot, but during this book you follow the same characters as before. The main character, Laia, is like scholar rebel, and she's trying to save her country from this magical creature that she helped become more powerful or reach their goal of destroying the human race in a way. And so this book is mostly about that. It doesn't really spoil the 1st book. The first 2 books is not about that, but this one is. I do highly recommend this series, and the first 2 I think are better than this one. This is really good. It's like you constantly kind of want to be reading it, but there's one part about this book that I really didn't enjoy. In this book, you kind of, there's this war that is going on from another empire is trying to invade this empire, and it just didn't work for me because it's all about this like empire and how it works, and then all of a sudden they're bringing in another force, and it went on way too long before they explained why this other empire or kingdom was trying to invade this kingdom. It it took too long, so I kept wondering, okay, like, but why are they fighting them? Like, what is going on? What do they want? And for me, it was just not well enough explained. It seemed irrelevant. So I think I gave this 4 stars because I did really enjoy it. The language is really good, and I think the characters are great. And the last book I read in August, I didn't even say this was like August wrap up. I suck. Oh my god, I'm so bad. So the last book I read was The Rebels in Gold. This is the last and 3rd book in the Alchemist of Loom series. I think it's called the Loom Saga. This was definitely the best book in the series. It started off good. It's basically a steampunk fantasy that focuses on these 2 worlds, Nova, which is a kingdom in the clouds, and Loom, which is a steampunk world that is down below. The main character, Ariana, she is like a very intelligent chimera. Chimera means you have dragon organs. Dragons are the ones that live in Nova. You have their organs inside of you. Each organ has a magical power, and so when she transplants a dragon organ inside of her, she gets that superpower. And so this book was just so good. You get to learn about the conflicts between Nova and Loom. Loom is trying to take back their own power over their own country. This is one of the main characters, and she has just developed so much, and she's not the same person at all she was in the first one. And then on Nova, you get to follow kind of it's a completely different world, where people basically have a more primal sort of ruling, and it's really interesting. And at the same time, I just want to say that it has a very, very good way of looking at like sexuality and relationships. The relationships in this book are so realistic, in my opinion. They really they make sense to me, and it isn't always like, oh, they live happily ever after. It's sometimes like, okay, we were meant to go our different ways, or that kind of thing. And I think that was really good representation in this. And it doesn't address sexuality at all, which I also really, really liked about this book. Like the fact that they were together with a man or a woman, or like that was irrelevant through the whole story. It wasn't like, you know, sometimes young adult novels are like, oh, it's like, oh, she was with a girl, and then they make this whole big deal about she was like lesbian. And this one, it's just like, it's completely natural whoever you're with, or like that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't matter. And I think that is the true acceptance of diversity, that like it's not really addressed and nobody cares. I don't know. However, really good. I highly recommend this series. I haven't read her other series, but I don't know if I should read it since it was published before this one. It might not be as good since I think her writing is always developing, but it just seems really interesting. So those are all the books that I read in August, except the ones I read for BookTube-a-thon, of course. So I hope you guys all have a good reading month. I hope you weren't like deeply disturbed by my makeup. Tell me what books you read, or book you read in August. I'd love to know what books you're reading now. Please talk to me. I love hearing your opinions or what you're reading or anything like that. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.